Golf Smarter number 687 is brought to you by Autoslash.com, who can help you find the lowest rate possible for your next car rental. From adversity to inspiration to the World Golf Hall of Fame, the amazing life of Dennis Walters.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Dennis.
Hello, Fred. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast this week. Appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir. Thanks for thinking of us, and we're happy to be speaking with you and all your listeners.
Thank you. And so it's a very exciting time. 2019, you're being inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been quite a journey.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's a unique path to get to the World Golf Hall of Fame. You must have been quite surprised when you got word that was happening.
Well, I was quite surprised, and I actually got a phone call from Jack Peter, who was the head of the World Golf Hall of Fame, and he called me on October the 4th and said that I was a finalist, and that there were three people in my category, the lifetime achievement category, and there were others in the playing categories and the veteran categories. And he said that they could take up to 5 people, and they would have a big meeting the next week, and they did. And he said he was going to call me back one way or the other. So on October the 11th, just like he promised, he called me back and he said, and all week I was preparing for anything but a positive outcome. I just figured probably not going to happen, nice to be nominated type speech, but I wasn't really prepared for a positive outcome. And he said, "Hello, Dennis, this is Jack Peter from the World Golf Hall of Fame." Immediately after that, "Hi, Dennis, this is Jack Nicklaus." Immediately after that, "Hi, Dennis, this is Gary Player." And in unison, they said, "Congratulations, Dennis. We're calling to let you know that you've just been elected to the World Golf Hall of Fame." And Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus were my advocates for that. And so it was very, very exciting and totally, I just wasn't prepared for a positive outcome. There were so many outstanding people. I figured, like I told Jack and Gary, I said, "Wow," I said, "you two must have done some sales job on these other people, because I'm sure half of them never even heard of me." And Jack said, "No, Dennis, that's not true." He said, "But after Gary and I got done with them, they heard a heck of a lot more." And these are people from all over the world who were on the final committee, and they're from South Africa and England and Japan and Australia. And so anyhow, it was, it really did take a while for it to sink in, to be honest with you.
It's so incredible that of the people that were inducted, that are being inducted in 2019 into the World Golf Hall of Fame, your path is unique, to say the least, to get you there. But what you've contributed to the game is also unique.
And I totally agree with you on all of those points. And my story is actually going, basically laying in a hospital bed 45 years ago, paralyzed from the waist down. And my journey took me over 3 million miles, over 3,000 performances, and to the highest honor in golf, the World Golf Hall of Fame. That's quite a trip, quite an odyssey, and quite a story.
Why do you think that you were considered and selected?
Well, I think the people who voted, once they found out what I had done, said there was enough merit there to do it. And I think it's because I have traveled a road unlike any other. First of all, I had to figure out a way to play golf. My big dream was always to play on the PGA Tour. I was going in that direction. I won 3 state championships in New Jersey, and I went to school at North Texas State on a scholarship. And my senior year, I finished 11th in the U.S. Amateur. I tried to qualify for the tour. I got to the final, and I was going to try again when I had this accident. So I was pretty close to fulfilling my dream. And then I'm laying in a hospital bed, paralyzed from the waist down. I can't move or feel my legs. Every person I met said, "Too bad, Dennis. You'll never be able to play golf again because you can't stand up." So now my whole world's down the drain. I'm trying to figure out what would I do next, and the rest is a 45-year journey, and with a lot of amazing stops and a lot of amazing stories along the way.
A lot of inspirational stories along the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happened to me that were my experience has enabled me to tell my story to countless others and use my experience as an example to show people what's possible and in golf and in life. And I think that the fact that I was able to figure out a way to play golf, that this method that I pioneered has been able to help many others play golf who might not have the opportunity. I think the fact that I've been able to positively influence others, and I think the way that I've done it is what the voters on the Hall of Fame committee considered. And I think that, to me, that's about the best way I can answer your question of why I got in. I think my show is great golf. It's a lot of fun, but there's a message to it, and the message is that I'm encouraging people to reach for their dreams, strive for excellence, and do something in their life they didn't think they could.
Have you been witness to any of those examples that you have set? Do you know anybody, people, young people, adults, who've come back to you and shared the fact that you were the inspiration for their own success?
Well, yeah, well, I think there's a lot of examples of that, and the thing that you touched on is really what kind of made me realize what I was doing was a good thing, because in the beginning I did this all for myself. I basically was trying to cope with what I considered to be a hopeless situation. And as rotten as I felt every place else, when I came to the golf course, I felt better. So as I started to play golf again, I realized this was, for me, far better medicine than any pill I could take. And it was good therapy. It was good mental therapy. It was good physical therapy. It was good emotional therapy. And as I started to perform, listen, I never thought I could make a career out of this. I was just trying to cope with this hopeless situation. But I started in 1977. I did my first real show. Did a few practice shows in 76, but I did my first real show in 1977 at the PGA Merchandise Show with Bob Toski and Jim Flick. And immediately when I started, I always told people that how much I loved to play golf and how everyone told me that I'd never be able to play. And after I started doing this, I was hoping to show others what was possible. And so I have found that I've been doing this so long, I used to get telegrams from people telling me that I was helping them. And I was giving them hope. I was giving them encouragement and inspiration. Then I got phone calls. Now I get tweets and Instagram, Facebook. And so what happened was my original dream was to make it through this world on my golf skill. And I did. I always wanted to go on tour. I've been on tour for 42 years. This is not exactly the tour I originally had in mind.
No, it's not.
But what I have found is that giving someone hope, encouragement, and inspiration are probably three of the most precious gifts you can give to someone. And by me doing that, yes, I did make it through this world on my golf skill. I've been hitting trick golf shots for 42 years. Wow, that's cool. That's good. But I've had the opportunity to positively influence others, maybe only by a little bit, but that's made it even better.
At what point during your journey, your recovery, your journey, did you discover this mission, this path of yours, and realize that this was going to be your future, your gift?
Well, it took me a while, but the first thing I did was I had to figure out a way to play golf. That was my number one objective. And so I was in the hospital for 4 months. I was in a rehab center for 4 months. And the last month I was in this rehab center, I was allowed to go home on weekends. So in February 1975, I'm laying on a couch and my head is in my dad's lap and we're watching the Bing Crosby tournament ironically from Pebble Beach. And I'm crying my eyes out because a lot of my friends were playing and I felt like I should have been there too. So my dad goes, "Come on, champ, let's go hit some golf balls." And I said, "How do you reckon I'm going to do that?" He says, "Out of your blanking wheelchair." If you knew my dad, you could guess the descriptive adjective that he used.
Yeah, how many guesses do we get?
Yeah, it starts with an F.
And it's not Fred.
Right. So anyhow, I had my favorite club was a Byron Nelson 3-wood, and I took that and we went over to the clubhouse where they had a net set up, and it didn't really work at first. I was too low. He went home and got a pillow, raised me up. I was falling all over the place. He went home and got a strap to make sure I wouldn't fall over. The wheelchair almost tipped over, so we went and got a rope and anchored it to a pole. Anyhow, I like this. I then went to Florida, and I met a guy who was an old-time pro named Alec Tournier, and Alec helped me hit balls every day by teeing balls up while I was in the wheelchair. One day he saw me sitting on a bar stool, and he cut the legs off the bar stool and put it on the passenger side of the golf cart. And that's how I really got back on the course. And I started to practice and play, and I was, again, never thought I could make a career out of it, but I started to do that. And I remembered when I was a kid, I saw a guy named Paul Hahn Sr., who was the #1 great trick shot artist of the 50s and 60s. I was playing in a junior tournament, and he came there to do a show. And for whatever reason, I was in the first row, and I never said, "Wow, I would really like to do that." But I said, "Okay, that's cool. He can hit off a 3-foot high tee and funny clubs. And yeah, I get this." So anyhow, I was doing a few practice shows in 1976 for clubs there were 3 clubs that held fundraisers for me. And I went back and showed them what I was doing. And the last one I did, I said to my dad, "Remember when I saw Paul Hahn?" I said, "Could you make me a 3-foot high tee?" "Sure." So he made me a 3-foot high tee, and I got a much better reaction when I did that. So the next thing I did was the PGA of America had a film of Paul Hahn doing a show at the 1960 PGA Championship in Firestone. And so I got that, and I watched it on my wall probably 500 times in my bedroom. And I said, "Well, I could do that one. I could probably do that one." "Nah, I don't think so." And so I borrowed some things that he did, read a book on Joe Kirkwood, another famous guy and who did trick shots. And I went to hear and watch and listen to people who were giving clinics, and Sam Snead, Patty Berg, Bob Toski, all these people who had been doing it for years. And I tried to watch them and see what they were doing. Then when I decided to do this on my own, I started making up my own shots and my own stories to go with the shots. And that's kind of how I got started. I really wasn't going anywhere, getting a few shows here and there. My dad probably called every course in America. Every once in a while, he'd scrape one up. But anyhow, in the early 80s, my dad wrote a letter to Jack Nicklaus, who at the time owned the McGregor Golf Company, and they signed me to a contract, and that's when my career took off. My dad went with me on the road for the first 17 years. My dad, my dog, and myself. My sister and my mom stayed home doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work that was very important. They didn't get much credit, but we were out there plugging away, and that was really when it started and how I got going. And I have traveled many a mile since then.
If and this is just a message to the listener right now, that if you've never seen, if you're not familiar with Dennis Walters, I want you to put this in pause right now and go to YouTube. You're going to have plenty to find, or go to DennisWalters.com, but go to YouTube and just type in Dennis Walters golfer, and you'll get a good sense. And then I want you to come back, and we're going to hear the rest of this. But first, Dennis, we're going to take a quick time out, and we'll be right back. This episode of the Golf Smarter podcast is supported by our friends at Autoslash.com, the essential tool in your browser to help you secure the lowest rate possible for your next car rental. Now, here's how Autoslash works. You want to rent a car. You're going on a trip. It could be a business trip. It could be a personal trip. Either way, if you're going to pay for the car, you're going to want the lowest price possible. Here's what you do. You find the car that you want at the price that you are comfortable with any rental company that you'd like. Then you go to your Autoslash account. You need to create an Autoslash account. They're not a rental company. They're a rental viewing service, I guess is what I want to call it. That's probably wrong. And when you create it, you make sure that you give them every coupon code that you know you're eligible for. And that includes publicly available codes or special membership codes, like your frequent flyer codes or AAA or Costco, ARP, wherever you go. But put those in because they can get you additional discounts. Then, after you've signed up for a rental, you provide Autoslash with the information on that car that you've reserved and let their tracker, their magic tracker, do the rest. And every time a better price is found for the car that you want, no matter where that offer is from, you're going to receive an email telling you about that better price from Autoslash. You don't have to act on it. But if you prefer that new rate, then cancel your first reservation, make a new one, and again, let Autoslash know that you've made that new reservation. Their tracking bot, again, that's 50% of the magic. How they created this, I don't know. But it continues to look every single day, every single minute of every single day until you pick up your rental. Autoslash is not a rental company, but a price tracking service that does the work for you. But you should know that the average user saves 30% off the rate they can find on any other car rental site. Autoslash.com, AUTOSLASH, Autoslash.com, to help you save money on your next car rental. And we thank them very much for their support of Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans. Dennis, how long after your accident did your dad say to you, come on, we're going to go out and hit balls?
Well, it was about 7 months.
Wow.
That's 7 months. The first hole I played, I hadn't played one hole of golf in 9 months, and I parred the first hole I played.
Oh, wow.
And that's a very interesting story.
Please.
Because I was down in Florida at Pompano Beach, and as I mentioned, my friend my new friend, Alec Tournier, was teeing golf balls up for me about 5 hours a day. 5 or 6, we would have breakfast, hit some balls for a few hours, and have lunch and hit some again. And so after a month of this, I was hitting my driver about 180, and I told Alex, I said, I'm sick of doing this. I want to go play. So I got 2 high school kids pushed me over to the first hole. The first hole is 310 yards. I figured I'm no math major, but if I hit my drive 180, I only got 130 left. I should be able to knock it around the green somehow. So I picture this. I'm in a wheelchair. I have a very high pillow that's raising me up, and I've got like a seat belt around my waist, and the wheelchair is tied to a rope, which is tied to a spike, which is holding it steady. So we get all set up on the first tee, and I hit my drive 180 down the middle. We picked up everything. They pushed me down the fairway. I had 130 left. I took out a 5-wood after they set me up, and I hit it about maybe 5 feet off the edge of the green, pin high. So they took everything apart. They pushed me up to the ball. They're getting ready to put the pillow under me, and I said, forget it. And I leaned over one-handed at the side of the wheelchair, knocked it up for a gimme. The greatest par I ever made. And so the people in the clubhouse were watching, and we went back in, and everybody's cheering, hey, that was great, Dennis. We saw every shot. Yeah, it's great. I made a par, but it took me about 45 minutes to play the first hole. It's going to take me 12 hours to play 18 holes. So that's when my buddy Alex saw me sitting on the bar stool, and he said, tomorrow when you come back, I'll have this all figured out for you. And he did. And so I had that original seat. I had 2 prototypes. The seat that's sitting on my golf cart now is 42 and a half years old.
Wow.
Yep. There you Can't make this stuff up. If my life was a movie, you'd say it was pure fiction. There's no possible way this could have happened. But it did, and I've done a lot of things I never thought I could do. I've done shows with Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Ben Hogan watched me hit golf balls, Sam Snead told me dirty jokes. Byron Nelson once stood so close to me, I had to ask him to take 2 steps back because I didn't want to hit him.
Wow.
I've done 30 shows with Tiger, met 4 presidents, movie stars, famous athletes, and just about every great golfer that's been alive during my lifetime. And when I was laying in that hospital bed 45 years ago, I honestly never thought I was going to get out of it. I said, if I can get out of this bed, this is going to be a major accomplishment. I never dreamed I could do anything else. I thought basically my life was over, but I also promised I wasn't giving up and I wasn't quitting. And I just had a lot of dark days, but I've had some sunny days too. And that's part of what I'm trying to show people. I'm trying to show people what's possible under the most difficult and trying circumstances. And with hard work and perseverance, you can probably achieve success at almost anything. And that's really what I'm trying to show. I'm trying to tell people. And I'm also trying to demonstrate with every swing I make that golf can be for everyone. If I can do it, anyone who wants to should be able to do it.
Yep. What is it about adversity that, makes the cream rise to the top? That, the people with the easy, simple, golden spoon lives sometimes don't understand adversity and don't accomplish this kind of success that you're able to share.
Well, I can tell you this, adversity is no fun.
Yeah.
But it's something that you either have 2 choices. You can give up or you can fight. And that's really the bottom line. And I myself, I was never brought up to do anything but to fight back. My dad, who I learned a lot of things from my dad. My dad was in the infantry in World War II, and he was
so was mine.
He was amazing. he landed in North Africa, then he went to Anzio Beachhead, then he fought his way to Berlin. And he had a saying, I heard him say this 1,000 times, talking about himself. He said, I'm a stupid guy. I don't know how to spell can't. And that's the way my sister and I were raised. And so there were a lot of times I felt like giving up and not continuing, but it was just such a bewildering time, and it was such an emotional beginning to all of this. And then once I got going, it was hard to get the shows, and there were these problems, and there's many, many things behind the scenes. People have no idea of the things that I went through and my family went through. And so it's a story unlike any other, but lots of people have done things along the same line. And so if you talk to each one of these people, I'm sure they would have a similar thing to say, that, yeah, it was bad, it was dark, it was this, it was that. But I just kept going, I kept persevering, and I came out the other side. And that's about all you can do. There is no formula. There is nothing to copy, because each story is different. But the same elements, I believe, are true. You obviously have to not give up, because if you do all the other things right and you give up, then that's the end of the story. But if you prepare, if you persevere, if you have passion about what you want to do, and you do all these things, then hopefully you'll come out with something at the end.
Yeah. Were there periods of time, even during you giving these shows, you have found a path for yourself, but there was, I can't even try to insert a blank here, I'll let you fill it out, but were there times you were going to give up then? It was like, this is just too difficult, this is too painful, too emotional. Were there moments that you wanted to give up?
Well, let me put it to you this way. As this relates to golf, you can't find a golfer who has not said, I quit. I don't want to play. I'm done. But the next day they're out there hitting balls or they're playing. So, I mean, it's, I'm sure I said it, but not to the point where I actually took any action about it, because I was so discouraged and I was so down. And even when I started playing golf, it was so difficult, because I'm out there hitting grounders. I mean, people see me sitting in that seat and they think I'm just like them sitting in the seat, but they don't realize I can't move or feel my legs. Yeah, my legs are touching the ground, but they're not doing anything. And for someone who played golf on a pretty high level, for me to go out there and try and figure this out, I mean, that was a gigantic jigsaw puzzle. I mean, the game of golf itself is a 60-year unsolvable puzzle. But when you throw in the fact that I'm paralyzed from the waist down and I'm trying to hit a golf ball sitting down, come on. I mean, it's so much harder and so much more difficult. And plus the fact I didn't have anybody to show me how to do it. I had to figure the whole thing out myself, which I actually enjoyed the challenge of it, because I love golf so much, and I had really hit a lot of golf balls in my life, and I was just trying to figure this whole mess out. And in some weird way, that was, to finally figure it out was very satisfying.
Why do people compare golf to life?
Because I think it's a very similar path. You have good days, good breaks, bad breaks. In golf, you make your own luck. You make your own, whatever the outcome is, it's all on you. And I think that it's a very similar parallel. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. And it's mostly you in golf and life. You get out of something what you put into it. You put nothing in, you get nothing out. And I think that you put a lot in, you get a lot out of it. And it's a very simple equation.
Boy, but
probably lost a lot in today's world, because today everybody wants to push a button and an instant answer. And that's not the way golf is. Golf and life are not like that. There are no easy answers in golf. There are no easy answers in life. And the whole thing, whether people want to believe it or not, is, it doesn't matter where you start. You work hard, you persevere, you hang in there, you do your job better than anybody else, and I don't see how you can fail.
But what a surprise to have this kind of recognition, right? After that many years, after that change of direction in your life, and to find a new path, and then to spend all these years being such an inspiration, and it ends with an induction to the World Golf Hall of Fame. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And the thing about it is, for a long time, I didn't think anybody was actually watching.
Wow.
My dad and I crisscrossed in that van all those miles, and we went to some of the greatest golf courses, and we went to courses in the middle of nowhere. My journey in golf, I would have to say, is unlike any other. And this is the best example I have. A few years ago, I went and did a show for the members at Augusta National. It's tied for my favorite show, along with the show I did at St. Andrews in Scotland. Those are my two favorite shows. Out of the over 3,000, those are my two favorites. So I did this show for the members at Augusta National right off the first tee. And so I said, oh boy, I have to warm up a lot today. So I hit about 100 balls off the first tee at Augusta National. I figure that's like making the cut in 25 Masters. And so it was a wonderful day. Families were there on Thanksgiving, and it was a tremendous thrill for me. And the next show I did about a week later was at a landfill that had been converted into a driving range. And so that was the spectrum that I've gone from, something like that. And I've done shows in parking lots and car dealerships and some of the greatest golf courses in America, and just the average muni course out in the middle of nowhere. And I've seen a lot of golf that probably no one else has.
Yeah, yeah. And you're saying those were your favorite shows because of the location?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you...
Right.
When I got on that first tee at St. Andrews, I could feel the aura of every great golfer that had been there.
Wow.
And I've only felt that a few times. I felt it at Augusta. I felt it at Oakland Hills. Ben Hogan's my favorite golfer. I actually met him 6 times.
Wow.
And, so there's a famous picture of him teeing off at Oakland Hills. And when I went to Oakland Hills in Michigan, the pro there said, where would you like to do the show? And I said, I want to do it right where Ben Hogan did it, right off the first tee here. And so I could feel the aura there. And so it's just, you know, I was unlucky that this happened to me. Okay. But I was lucky that I had such a great mom and dad and a great sister, and my love of golf. And because I had that support, I would never say I did this all myself, but I don't actually remember anyone actually hitting a golf ball for me. But I was lucky that I had the support, and that I was strong enough to persevere and keep going. And I still enjoy doing this. This is my 42nd year on tour, and I still enjoy doing it, and I can still do it the way I think it should be done. I had a show yesterday and hit every shot good. And as long as I can keep those two things up, that's what I'll carry on. When I feel like I can't do it the way it's supposed to be done, or it's not as much fun, then I'm probably going to pack it in.
Well, and here you are being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which you never even thought as a remote possibility. Do you have any goals for yourself now?
Well, I'd like to be in a movie. Not my movie, any movie. I just want to see myself on a screen.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
That's great.
My dog passed away on March 29th, so my immediate goal is to try and start the process of trying to find another one. I've had 4 dogs in my adult life, all rescued from animal shelters or rescue groups. If there's anybody out there looking for a dog or a cat, an animal shelter or a rescue group is a great place to begin your search.
Yep. And
so that's going to take a while because I know I'm laser focused on exactly what I want. And it's a 20-pound terrier mix, looks like the movie dog Benji. I've had 3 of them, and they're hard to find.
Yep.
And I want a young dog about 1 year old that has a great temperament and likes to play with a ball. So those are my requirements. If anybody has seen a 20-pound Benji dog that likes to play with a ball and it's about 1 year old, call me.
Yeah, it is hard to be that specific. We went through a path of trying to get a dog. We were looking for a couple of years, and it seems like when you go to the rescue sites, rescue places, it's all Chihuahuas and Pit Bulls, or mixes of the two. Hard to find a specific dog that you're looking for, but I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure that you're going to succeed. You're clearly motivated and get things done. So I have no doubt you're going to find your dog in a quick time.
I've got a lot of people starting to look, and in my travels, I'll be hitting the dog pounds and shelters, and you can do a lot of it on the internet now. So
yeah, exactly. It's very different than the last time you looked for a dog, I'm sure.
Correct.
Dennis, this has been an inspiration. I appreciate your time and you sharing your story with us and your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having us on, Fred, and I wish you all the best. I hope I see you at Pebble Beach.
That would be pretty cool. I'm trying to get press credentials for that. Anyway, it's time to announce the first of our ongoing giveaway winners for 2019. Our prize is a customized Seymour putter from the Classic Collection, courtesy of our friend Jim Grunberg at Seymour Putters. That's Seymour, SEEMORE.com, like see more putts go in. All right. Congratulations to Scott Koch of Lakeville, Minnesota. Scott, you'll get to choose the putter that best suits your eye from their Classic Collection online, and then the folks from their Putter Lab, maybe even Cody Hale, who was featured on episode 668 in December of 2018. You may want to listen to that. Maybe Cody or somebody else from the Putter Lab will make this putter exactly right for you. And let me just say how much my playing partners hate my Seymour putter. Yeah. Last week, one guy actually called me a mother putter after I sank a 15-foot must-make putt to win the hole and the match. I'll take that one proudly. We're going to do a new giveaway every 2 weeks now, and trust me, more Seymour putters are coming throughout the year, but that isn't our only prize. Our next giveaway is a dozen golf balls of your choice from twoguyswithgolfballs.com. Deadline for entry is midnight Pacific Time, 3 a.m. Eastern on Sunday, May 12th, 2019. Happy Mother's Day. Now, if you've registered for the Seymour Putters, thank you so much, but the names on our current list all get wiped away. So if you want to win a dozen balls of your choice, you need to register at golfsmarter.com and click on the Enter Now button. And while you're there, check out what other prizes are coming your way, and good luck. Golf Smarter Mulligans is getting heard, and hopefully it's helping your game. Please let me know if you have any comments or suggestions on how to make Golf Smarter Mulligans better. I'm very excited of the response that we've been getting just off the top, so thank you again. Now, this week's episode features PGA Master Professional Tom Tatnall talking about course management skills, a very important topic. Now, usually we don't talk about tech products on mulligans because they might be dated, but in this episode, Tom gives us some really great advice on how to best utilize your GPS in relation to your course management. Golf Smarter Mulligans is also supported by autoslash.com and 2guyswithgolfballs.com. Now, if you're unsure of what ball to play and you don't know why one ball may be better for your game than another, then send in your question, because Sam Hogan from 2guyswithgolfballs.com and I will do a future episode just answering your questions, and we're getting questions. So you have to trust me when I say that your question is similar to many other golfers who don't ask. So submit a question to either of us via Twitter or YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram using hashtag GolfSmarter or hashtag 2guyswithgolfballs, or call our Academy line. The Golf Smarter toll-free Academy line is 415-761-1498, or just simply write to golfsmarterpodcast@gmail.com. And you can always click on the Hey Fred button at golfsmarter.com. But before we go, it's time for our quote of the week from Dr. Joseph Parent. This is from the chapter entitled More Curious Than Afraid, from the Zen Golf Mastering the Mental Game book. And he says, "You can take an attitude of openness and curiosity about the future regardless what you might encounter. Facing challenges this way will help you step through your fears and give you an opportunity for success. As the saying goes, life is like a turtle. If you don't stick your neck out, you never get anywhere."